Hello, Mr. Nixon. Thank you again for joining us.
The pleasure's all mine, Mary Ann.
If you don't mind, we're going to get right into it.
No problem at all, Mary Ann.
How was your early life as a child?
As a child, I lived in California with my 4 brothers and parents. My father was very hardworking and worked long and hard hours to support for my mother, siblings, and I.
Describe what life was like while you were in the military.
Life in the military was good. During World War II, I served as a lieutenant in the Navy.
What was your earlier schooling life like?
After graduating from Whittier High School, both Harvard and Yale invited me to apply for scholarships. Instead, I decided to go to Whittier College just down the road because I needed to be close to my family. After I got my undergrad from there, I traveled to Duke University for law school on a scholarship.
What was working so close to Eisenhower like? Was he a good, hardworking man? Did you enjoy having him as a boss?
Eisenhower is a very good man. We were very close friends, and he was one of the few people I actually trusted. More importantly, we worked very well together and put our heads together to come up with the best solutions for the nation.
Would you care to explain to us how the $18,000 you were accused of embezzling during your campaign? How is Checkers doing?
First of all, I was falsely accused of such allegations. Checkers is doing well. My girls enjoy playing with him every single day after school. He really is a great dog.
Tell us some of your thoughts on the 1960 election.
I never truly overcame the loss of that election. It was the closest election to date. Although I won the popular election, I still lost. I most definitely got robbed.
How do you feel about the recent assassinations of both Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy?
MLK was one of the truly great men of the world. He was one of the few honest men to date. The entire world is truly mourning his loss. Although the Kennedy family and I have our personal differences, the nation will miss Robert as well.
Looking back on it, what would you have done differently about the illegal bombings of both Cambodia and Laos?
I was just trying to help and do what I thought was best for our great country. But looking back on it now, I realized I overstepped my boundaries.
What was your plan for ending the war in Vietnam?
I had a great plan for ending the war in Vietnam. The strategy was called Vietnamization. I planned to increase bombings in the north and lower the amount of troops.
What do you have to say about the Democratic Convention of 1968 in Chicago?
I do not have too many good things to say about the Democratic Convention. All I know is that the Republican Convention went well.
Describe to us your successful campaign for the presidency in 1968.
My campaign went very well back in 1968. Without Johnson running for a second term, I was not too worried about winning.
Please describe new federalism to us.
My goal for using new federalism was to take away some power from the already too large federal government, give it back to the power to the states.
What exactly is revenue sharing?
Revenue sharing is the federal government giving money to the states, and the states then deciding exactly how they want to spend that money.
Describe some of the government programs you added while in office.
While in office, I was able to add many government programs. To name just a few, I created the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Family Assistance Plan.
What's your past on civil rights?
I'm all for equal rights. This beautiful country wouldn't be as it was if segregation was still legal.
Let's hear some words from you about the economic recession.
To combat the economic recession, I had a 3-phase approach. Unfortunately, not even my well-thought-out plan ended up working.
What did you try and do to fix the energy crisis?
Speed limits on all highways were lowered to 55 miles per hour, and all Americans were urged to lower their thermostats.
What is realpolitik?
Realpolitik is a German term that used the politics of reality. That means the politics of reality. I based my foreign policy off this term. I found it unrealistic for us to be the policemen of the world.
What is your policy of detente?
With my policy of detente, I was able to open up relations with China and the Soviet Union. These relations are still paying off today.
How were you able to open up such relations with China?
I was able to go on an official state visit to China after the U.S. table tennis went there for a tournament. The first president ever.
What about the Soviet Union? Was it hard to open up relations with them as well?
Excuse me, Marianne, I'm a little parched right now. Once relations with China improved, the USSR followed suit, just as I had planned.
Can you describe what SALT is?
I like to put it on my french fries and scrambled eggs. No, in all seriousness. SALT stands for Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty. This treaty limited us to 1,054 missiles and the USSR to 1,618 missiles.
Who were the plumbers?
The plumbers were the guys I hired to fix any leaks.
Enlighten us on the Watergate scandal. Looking back on it, what would you have done differently?
Watergate was one of my biggest regrets. Although I was never personally involved in this scandal, I thought I was doing it for the good of the country.
Why did you decide to resign from office?
I wanted to do what was best for the country, not just for me, my family, or my political party. I felt that tying the country up with all those high court case bills was unfair and unjust. I know my Vice President Ford would do a great job in office.
All right, that's all the time we have tonight. Mr. Nixon, thank you so much for joining us on Channel 7, and may all your future endeavors end in success.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night, Marianne, and good night to you, America. I am not a crook. Peace.